Hey, what's up, guys? I'm gonna apologize in advance right now because I'm noticing I'm not shooting on my DSLR camera. I'm shooting with the webcam, with using photo booth, and I'm seeing that it's very delayed. So forgive me if this gets really out of sync between the audio and the visuals. Anyway, I'm making this video. I don't know what I've titled it, so pardon my ignorance here. I was watching a video a few weeks ago, maybe over a month ago, titled How to Get into Cannes Film Festival. Except when you click on the video, it has nothing to do with how to get to the Cannes Film Festival. And I looked through the comments and looked like a lot of people were there for that and were understandably disappointed when it wasn't that. And so since I've been to Cannes once in 2019, I figured I could try, keyword is try, to explain how to get to the Cannes Film Festival, at least the way I got in. So to do that, I just kind of have to talk about my experience. So the backstory about that is I went to a small, now defunct, Good Riddance film school in Chicago from 2011 to 2013. It was a 2-year school. So I didn't flunk or get kicked out of those close a couple times in the latter category. And right before graduation, our big project was a 10-minute short film. Mine was called The Sweet Life. I directed it, I didn't write it. And it turned out pretty decent. The school ended up loving it and wanted to use it to show how this project is supposed to be done. I'm assuming they used it, I think they said they put it on their website for a while. And I guess it was like a promotional tool for the school at the end of the day. And 6 years later, I get a phone call from this alcoholic woman who cursed a lot that they submitted it to the Cannes Film Festival and it got in, along with about 10 other short films from the school periodically throughout the years, and they got in as well. And she made it seem like because these shorts were in the Cannes Film Festival, that it was going to be projected on the big screens where everybody will be watching it, including hot shots, and that it was eligible for awards and stuff. Now, I remember when she was telling me this, I was consciously skeptical, not subconsciously, that this didn't sound right. But I eventually said yes, count me in anyway, because it was a once in a lifetime opportunity just to go, and I've never traveled out of the country before. And once I got to the festival, it turned out I was right. So we get to the festival, and I learned that The Sweet Life was not playing in the Cannes Short Film Festival, where they're projected into the big screens, the big auditoriums where the hot shots are, and eligible for awards. No, this was in the short film corner, which is quite literally a corner of a room at the conference center in a computer lab with about 30 computers with crappy headsets. So, needless to say, it wasn't on those big screens. It wasn't being seen by anybody, and it wasn't eligible for any awards. To get somebody to watch it, you would pretty much just have to tell them to go watch it, and they would have to go find the short film corner, and they would have to search in your film and then put on the crappy headsets unless they have some of their own. I went once to the short film corner just to check it out. I watched my film, and of course, the school put in the wrong version of it, but that was frustrating. Maybe they didn't know which one. I don't know which one they had. They had the wrong one, obviously. And I watched the others from my school. I didn't know any of the people. I had never seen any of the shorts for film. They weren't from the time I was there. And I watched some random ones. And I'm going to tell you something. The library in the short film corner had about 800 or 900 films. What does that tell you? Well, that tells me that they probably accept anything and everything that's submitted. So this is your ticket to the Cannes Film Festival. Let me pull up a site here for you. Here we go. All right, submit a film to the SFC. That's the Short Film Corner. This is on the Cannes website. I will put it in the description of this video. So as you can see, where is it? Okay, so the deadline. So registration starts December 2024, and deadlines to register is March 2025. So you have plenty of time, and I am working on a short film that I hope to submit and get in. So maybe when that time comes, I will document that process so you can get a better idea. But it has the registration fee and it has all the requirements on here and stuff, the technical specifications. So you have to have it a certain way to get in. So I think they accept anything that just fits this. And it has nothing to do with how good your short is, just if it's the right stuff. Also, full disclosure, however, if you get in this way, you're only accredited to the festival for 3 days, not the whole 10 or so that the festival actually runs for. And you can only attend screenings that take place at the conference center because there are other screenings at nearby art house theaters, but you don't have access to those. And I found that out the hard way after waiting in line for an hour. Also, I should probably talk about when you get accepted to the short film corner and you go, they give you, one of the things they give you is this. It's like a program or something for the Catalogue du Court, and it has all, I guess I'd put bookmarks here. So my school was here. There's a section for my school right there. And my film is right there. So there, I guess there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 films my school submitted. And I just lost the spot that I also had bookmarked, which had, oh no, here it is. My film, you get a little, so my film is right there, The Sweet Life. Hold on. I can get a better shot. Can you see it? The Sweet Life there. Yeah, sometimes they come with pictures and sometimes they don't. I don't know why. But luckily mine got one, which is cool. And then the Swedish, I met some Swedish guys, and their film is in here too. And they didn't get a picture, Neandra. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So thanks for watching. I hope this was better than the other video when it came to this topic. So, I haven't talked about my Cannes experience, so I'm going to do that from here on out. If you don't care about that, you have my permission just to turn the video off. Thanks for watching. If you're interested, thanks for being interested, and keep watching. So, like I said, I've never traveled abroad before, so my parents didn't want me to go alone, even though I was a grown man. And I wasn't psyched about that, but whatever. So my dad invited this guy to go with me. Who he had just met, who I had never met, a guy he met while golfing, who travels abroad all the time. So of course I wasn't excited to go to France for the first time with somebody I've never met before, but luckily it turned out he was my age. We got along really well. It's as close as I can get. Say it. And I, in fact, in retrospect, definitely would have been lost and confused the entire time I was there, as my parents, excuse me, expected. So we flew from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it was one of those planes I've only seen in movies and TV and stuff, where you have the 3 columns of seats and then the 2 lanes to go up and down. I've only traveled domestically, so I'm just used to the 2 columns of seats and the 1 lane you go up and down. So that was neat. And then each seat had the back of the headrest had a screen you could watch movies and TV on, and I watched Dog Day Afternoon for the first time. And once we got to Norway/Sweden, I can't remember which one it was because we went to the other one on the way back, so I get confused. We got off the plane outside. That was a first for me. On basically the runway, and I cannot exaggerate how immediate it was, how I can tell the difference in air quality to America. It was just shot up my nostrils unbelievably intensely. It was so crisp, so fresh. It just felt healthy breathing it. It was like drinking the most expensive bottle of water, or the best possible water on earth, after wandering the desert for 40 years with nothing to drink. That's what it felt like. So we did our layover there for a few hours, and then we went off to France in Nice, where the Airbnb that I booked was. Once we got to the Airbnb, it was a house, and we were on the bottom floor. It was kind of like an apartment. I guess the guy turned his basement into like an apartment where he would rent out for Airbnb. We met the couple. They were married. They were older. And the reason I went with Nice, I don't know if you're familiar with the area. Nice is kind of far from Cannes, and I went with that because it's, well, it's cheaper and because the guy said he spoke fluent English. Well, it turns out he did not speak fluent English. Me and my travel buddy couldn't understand anything he said ever, pretty much. He was like a French boomhauer, maybe even worse. And also, he said on his Airbnb profile that he provides breakfast, but he just provided one single loaf of baguette, which was nice, but one baguette I wouldn't call providing breakfast every day you're there. Okay, anyway, so that was a rest day. The next day was my first day of Cannes. And because my travel buddy, I just met him, he wasn't involved in the film, he wasn't accredited to enter the festival. So he would come with me, but he would just kind of do his own thing. He's very outgoing. He brought his skateboard, so he was skating a lot. I have some videos of that I can show right here. I feel pretty guilty about this because this was something my dad didn't tell him that he couldn't get in until we were already on our way. So I didn't see as many things as I would have liked, especially on the first day. On the first day, I just saw one film. It was Terrence Malick's A Hidden Life. It wasn't the first screening ever there of it. It was maybe the second or third screening. It was the premiere. That weekend was the premiere of the film, though. So I was one of, a handful of people that got to see it opening weekend, I guess you could say, before it would play in theaters. But it was playing on the main screen, the main auditorium of Cannes, and I have footage of that here. It's huge and has a balcony and many seats. It's pretty fantastic. In line waiting to get in, there was this guy with a Jumanji backpack, which I thought was funny. I also want to note that I fought sleep during every film I saw that weekend in Cannes, or week in Cannes, because I was so jet lagged. I've never been jet lagged in my life, and I was jet lagged the entire trip. The second day, I just saw two flicks. I saw the debut, the premiere of Fire Will Come, and I saw Nina Wu. Neither of these played on the main screen. They played in different auditoriums, maybe the same auditorium. I don't remember if it was one or two. Anyway, the third and last day, I saw the second screening ever of Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. I saw it with two Swedish guys me and my travel buddy met on the train one day. They're actually Letterboxd users. What's their names on Letterboxd? Oh no, I thought I had this ready, but I don't. But I remember their actual names, Gustav and Edvin. We hung out with them pretty much the entire time. So I saw Bong Joon-ho's Parasite with them, and with that, I can't tell you how amazing it was to see that film. If you've seen it, you know why. I saw it in a crowded theater, a huge crowded theater, not the main screen. Saw it outside of here. This is a picture from outside while we're waiting. None of us knew anything about the movie. When you go, you get this. One of the things you get is this. It's I don't know, a program with all the films screening in and out of competition. It has blurbs about the jury, and it has, which I'll get to, seminars and Q&As and stuff. Paris. So in each film, it gets like only one or two sentences describing the plot or the premise or whatever. This Parasite got a little more than that, but it still doesn't really tell you anything. And I can make a whole different video of what that was like, seeing with like a huge crowd who had no idea what was coming. It was unbelievable. The other film I saw was The Halt by Lav Diaz, another film I saw with the Swedish guys. We made a bet prior to the screening, actually, since it was a 4.5-hour film, that whoever fell asleep first would have to buy dinner. Sadly, we all fell asleep, and we don't know who fell asleep first, so we did end up going out to eat and paid our own bills. Now, here's some footage and stuff of the streets Like I said, everything's small, including the streets, but it's very French. You got this guy with an accordion. You got this tap dancing guy. There's unique restaurants all over, but there's also very closer to the festival, very, very like huge corporate American restaurants. There's a KFC, there was a Burger King, a McDonald's. It's bizarre seeing a bunch of people in tuxedos eating KFC, and I have this video of me at KFC.
Pretty. No? No cannibalism?
Oh. And here's the outside of Cannes at night. Another film I saw, I don't remember what day I saw, was called For the Money. I saw it with Swedish guys as well. I wanted to see this one because it was made by the director who made a movie called The Parrot and the Swan that I really loved, saw in a movie, and this was debuting there. Pretty good. Okay, here's some other things that happened that I remember but don't remember the day they occurred. The time I referred to earlier about waiting in line for an hour only to realize that we weren't allowed in was when I was waiting in line to see Werner Herzog's Family Romance LLC. And this was the only time I met up with the people from my school. And it was the only time because what I'm about to tell you is pretty cringe. So we were in line waiting, and they were not talking about Cannes. They were not talking about the films they saw at Cannes, the films they were looking forward to seeing at Cannes. They saw a billboard for Aladdin, the 2019 Guy Ritchie, Will Smith Aladdin, and went insane. They were so excited. They were talking about that and how they should go see it. And when we got rejected, they're like, yeah, let's go see Aladdin. Let's just go see Aladdin. I, of course, did not go. This was the last I saw them because that was just ridiculous. You could see that when you get home. You're at Cannes, the most prestigious film festival in the world, in France, and you're going to go see an American Aladdin Disney movie. It's just crazy to me. Cannes also does a thing called Cinéma de la Plage. Pardon my French, my lack of French, I should say, which means movie on the beach. And because I felt guilty about my travel buddy, doing his own thing by himself, not being able to get into the festival, although he did try once and almost got in, he would have got in if he didn't have his skateboard, which sucks. Anyway, since he wasn't able to see anything, they do the thing called Movies on the Beach, which is for free for the public, and it's literally what it sounds like. It's a movie that they play on the beach, and here's footage of that. And the screening that we were going to was for Easy Rider. I had seen it already, but my travel buddy had not, and he loved it. It's a totally unforgettable experience watching a movie like that outside at night on a beach in France. So if you go, you have to do this. Like I said earlier, I alluded to, the festival has a bunch of seminars and stuff and talks and Q&As you can attend with your accreditation. One that I went to was a Q&A or a seminar, I don't remember which. There was a Q&A after if there was a seminar, with Claire Denis, a French filmmaker who, she's not my favorite or anything, but she's cool and talented enough, and I like her enough to want to go. And I met her after the Q&A. I asked her, I didn't take any pictures, so sorry. I asked her one question. I was like, is it better to get noticed, to get your career started, to do shorts, or to do features? And she just made some baguette noises, and I thanked her for her time. If I ever get to go again, I am definitely going to go to more of these seminars, things, and learn and network more, for sure. Speaking of networking, one night I was waiting for the train to arrive to go back to the B&B, and this random Indian guy goes up to me and asks if I'm here for the festival. I'm like, yeah, I got a film in the short film corner. I didn't BS him. And he was like, cool, I work in the industry. Here's my card. Call and text me. I'll get you a job. I was like, dang, okay. So shook his hand, whatever. He left. And once I got on the train, I texted him my email. And then months later, he sent me like a huge list of roles and gigs for work, but they were all for Bollywood films in France. So I don't know if you could tell, but I'm not Indian and I'm not French. I don't speak Indian. I don't speak French, and I don't live in France. So I did kind of, I'm like, I'm not going to do it. But months later, I decided, hey, what the heck? I'm just going to apply to some and see what happens. And right when I did that, COVID happened. France went into lockdown. So obviously, there was going to be no jobs. So that was a bummer, but maybe I would have been stranded in France without a job, without money, and without knowing the languages. So it could have been a nightmare that I avoided, but still kind of bums me out just a little bit. Anyway, me and my travel buddy, we also took a day trip out to Monaco since everything is nearby in Europe. It's just a train ride away, and we it was kind of a waste. Monaco, I didn't know anything about Monaco before I went. It's tiny. It's for the ultra rich, but we were there doing some sort of like Formula One trial or something. So here's a bunch of footage of these loud cars racing through the city. It was kind of cool. Eventually, of course, the trip was over and we had to come back to Florida, which was kind of crazy because on the way back, our layover in Norway slash Sweden was like 16 or 18 hours. And it's true what they say about fast food chains in Europe. They kind of serve the cuisine there. So this McDonald's at the airport had like Swedish meatballs and it had crepes. Pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's my experience in a nutshell. I don't know if I wasted your time. I'm sorry. But that's kind of what Canada was like for me, and I look forward to going again and milking it more. Maybe taking less pictures or more pictures. I'm not a picture guy. I live in the moment, but just for the sake of doing this kind of video, maybe I should. But anyway, I hope you have a good rest of your day and stuff. And thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks for watching.
Why are there so many movies?